Your CV has been read by an AI. The video interview you recorded for that job you really wanted was analyzed by an algorithm before any human watched it. The performance review that determined your last pay rise was influenced by data your employer's AI collected about how you work. And if your employer is one of thousands using workforce analytics platforms, the AI may know you're thinking about leaving before you've told anyone.
That's a lot.
Episode 19, HR and the Future of Work. This is the episode about AI and your economic life. And the stakes, as Anastasia and Sophia are about to show you, are higher here than anywhere else in this series. I'm Oliver.
I'm Olga. This one matters. Pay attention.
Work is not just a source of income. It is how most people structure their time, build their identity, connect to society, and secure their futures. AI is now embedded in every stage of the employment relationship, from the first algorithmic screen of your job application to the AI that monitors how long you spend away from your desk. In no other industry does AI touch something this personal, this consequential, and this close to fundamental questions of dignity and fairness. A wrong recommendation from a travel AI means you book a mediocre hotel. A wrong decision from a hiring AI means you don't get a job. Those are not comparable stakes. And yet, in most organizations, the hiring AI operates with far less scrutiny than the recommendation algorithm.
HR has always been one of the most data-resistant functions in business. Hiring decisions were based on interview performance, gut feeling, cultural fit, all highly subjective, all highly prone to bias, all largely invisible to audit. AI entered HR through the obvious efficiency opportunity. When a major employer receives 50,000 applications for 500 roles, you have to filter somehow. The alternative to AI filtering is either an army of human reviewers, expensive and slow, or equally biased, but less scalable, keyword searching. AI promised better filtering, more predictive, less biased, faster. The promise was real. The bias risk was real too, and in many cases, larger than the alternatives it replaced. 4 areas. 1. Recruitment and selection. AI screening CVs, scheduling interviews, analyzing video interviews, assessing assessments. 2. Employee development and learning. AI identifying skill gaps, designing learning paths, personalizing training. 3. Performance management. AI contributing to performance evaluation, promotion decisions, compensation modeling. 4. Workforce analytics and well-being. AI monitoring productivity, predicting attrition, identifying teams at risk of burnout. 75% of large companies now use AI in the recruitment process. The most common applications: CV parsing and ranking, automated scheduling, video interview analysis, and skills assessment scoring. Unilever's deployment is the most studied. Since 2016, they have used AI to screen early-stage video interviews for 60,000 applicants per year. The AI analyzes word choice, tone, facial expressions, and speech patterns, and produces a short list of candidates recommended for human review. The results? Screening time reduced from 4 months to 4 weeks. Geographic diversity of final candidates increased significantly because the AI didn't have the same tendency as human reviewers to favor candidates from certain universities. And hiring manager satisfaction improved. HireVue, one of the leading video interview AI platforms, serves 800 major employers. Their systems assess candidates on hundreds of signals per interview second. The science supporting the predictive validity of these assessments is contested. Several studies question whether facial expression analysis genuinely predicts job performance. But adoption is accelerating regardless.
The Amazon recruitment AI story. Walk me through it exactly, because it's the cautionary tale the whole industry is still processing.
Amazon built a recruitment AI between 2014 and 2017, trained on 10 years of successful hires at the company. The model learned to identify patterns in CVs that correlated with successful Amazon employees. The problem? Amazon's tech workforce over those 10 years had been predominantly male. The model learned correctly that the CVs of successful Amazon employees tended to look like the CVs of men. And then it started applying that learning, penalizing CVs that included the word women's in any context. Women's chess club, women's rugby team, women's leadership program. It downrated graduates of all women's colleges. It had taught itself that being a woman was negatively correlated with success at Amazon.
And this wasn't intentional.
Entirely emergent from the training data. The model was doing exactly what it was designed to do: find patterns that predict success among Amazon's historical workforce. The patterns it found were accurate descriptions of that historical workforce. The workforce was biased. The model learned the bias and amplified it at industrial scale. Amazon scrapped the tool in 2017, but the lesson wasn't universally absorbed. The conditions that produced Amazon's problem, historical workforce data that reflects past discrimination, AI trained to replicate historical patterns, exist at virtually every major employer. AI and performance management is the area most employees don't know exists and would be most disturbed to learn about. Amazon's warehouse workers are the most documented case. Individual pick rates, idle time, and task completion speeds are monitored by AI in real time, and the data feeds directly into performance evaluations and termination decisions. Workers have received automated warnings and, in some documented cases, automated dismissal notices, without any human manager being directly involved in the decision. But this isn't only in warehouses. Knowledge workers are being monitored by productivity software, Microsoft 365 Copilot Analytics, Hubstaff, Terramind, that tracks keystrokes, mouse movement, application usage, and document activity. In some deployments, these metrics contribute to performance reviews. 60% of knowledge workers in organizations with over 500 employees are subject to some form of AI activity monitoring. The legal situation varies dramatically by country. Germany's Works Constitution Act gives employees significant rights against monitoring. The UK requires transparency about monitoring. The US has almost no federal protection against employer monitoring of company devices.
The case for AI in HR: objective, consistent, scalable decisions. The case against: algorithmic bias at the most consequential decision points in someone's economic life.
The case for is genuinely strong. Humans make terrible, inconsistent, biased hiring decisions. We favor people who look like us, went to our university, remind us of ourselves. We have good days and bad days that affect our interviews. We're susceptible to irrelevant cues like attractiveness and accent. AI can in principle strip out some of those irrelevant signals and focus on genuine predictors of job performance. The case against is also genuinely strong. AI learns from human decisions. If those decisions were biased, and most organizational hiring histories were, the AI learns the bias. It then applies that bias consistently and at scale, which is arguably worse than inconsistent human bias because it affects everyone systematically. And the opacity of AI decisions makes them much harder to challenge than human decisions, even when they are wrong. The synthesis. AI has the potential to be less biased than humans, but only with deliberate design, rigorous testing, and genuine accountability. By default, trained on historical data, deployed without testing, it is likely to be more biased, not less, because it makes the existing bias systematic and scalable. Workforce analytics. AI is the application with the most immediate potential for improvement and the most serious privacy concerns. The potential. AI that analyzes engagement signals, productivity patterns, collaboration networks, and survey responses to identify teams at risk of burnout, individuals likely to resign, and management behaviors that are correlated with team underperformance. Used well, this is enormously valuable. Identifying a high-performing team on the verge of collapse because of an unrecognized management problem and intervening saves the organization and saves the people. IBM's Watson Talent Frameworks, Microsoft Viva Insights, and Workday People Analytics are all offering versions of this capability. IBM has claimed their attrition prediction AI can identify 95% of employees likely to leave up to a year in advance. The risk. The same data used to identify flight risks can be used to manage out employees who are perceived as difficult, or to monitor employees in ways that erode the trust and autonomy that make people want to stay. The line between "we care about your well-being" and "we are watching everything you do" is thin, and the employees being monitored frequently don't know which side of it they're on. 95%. IBM's prediction of which employees will leave up to a year before they do. Think about what that means done well. An employer who can identify someone heading toward burnout and intervene with support before they've hit the wall. A manager who can see their team is under strain before it becomes a crisis. That is extraordinary. Done badly, the same capability is a tool for preemptive management of people deemed flight risks. The technology is the same. The culture around it determines which version you get. HR AI is technically challenging in a specific way. The ground truth it's trained on is unreliable. Successful employees at Amazon in 2014 were disproportionately male. That's not a measure of who would have been a successful Amazon employee, it's a measure of who Amazon hired. Performance ratings are notoriously inconsistent between managers. The metrics used to measure performance often reflect what is measurable rather than what is valuable. This means AI trained on typical HR data is learning from a noisy, biased, incomplete signal. The companies getting HR AI right are the ones building feedback loops that constantly test whether AI hiring decisions actually predict job performance over time, and correcting when they don't.
This is the episode where the responsible AI section feels most urgent.
Because the harms here are the most life-altering. 3. Hiring discrimination at scale. An AI that systematically disadvantages women, ethnic minorities, people with disabilities, or older candidates isn't just unfair, it's illegal under employment discrimination law in most jurisdictions. But proving algorithmic discrimination is technically and legally complex, and enforcement is lagging badly behind deployment. Performance monitoring that undermines dignity. Workers who are tracked, scored, and managed by algorithm report significantly higher stress and lower job satisfaction. The mere knowledge of being monitored changes behavior in ways that may not be productive. People optimize for what the algorithm measures rather than what actually matters. And the automation of consequential decisions. When an AI is generating termination recommendations or promotion decisions with no human in the loop, there is no accountability. No one who can be asked to justify the decision. No one who can hear an appeal. That is a serious due process problem.
What does responsible AI in HR look like?
3 non-negotiables. Bias auditing as standard practice. Every AI system used in hiring, promotion, or termination decisions should be regularly tested for disparate impact across gender, race, age, and disability status before deployment and continuously thereafter. New York City's law requiring bias audits of AI hiring tools, effective 2023, is the right model. The EU AI Act classifies AI in employment and recruitment as high risk, requiring transparency, human oversight, and the right to explanation. Human decision on consequential outcomes. AI can shortlist, but a human must decide who gets hired, who gets promoted, and who gets managed out. The decision must be explicable and appealable. Transparency to employees. Every organization using AI, monitoring, or AI performance management should disclose this clearly to employees. What is being measured, how it is used, and how to contest decisions made on that basis.
HR AI in the next decade. What changes?
3 directions. Skills-based hiring. AI that evaluates demonstrated capabilities rather than credentials. Shifting from, did you go to a good university, to, can you do this job? This has the potential to dramatically expand opportunity for people who don't have conventional educational backgrounds. IBM has publicly moved to skills-based hiring for many roles, removing degree requirements. AI career development. Continuous AI coaching that helps employees identify skill gaps, develop toward their career goals, and navigate internal opportunities. Genuinely personalized career development at scale. And human-AI collaboration as a core skill. As AI handles more routine cognitive work, the premium on uniquely human skills, empathy, ethical judgment, creative problem-solving, complex negotiation, increases. The organizations that invest in developing those capabilities in their people will have the workforce that matters in a world where AI handles the rest.
The future of work isn't humans versus AI. It's humans who work with AI versus humans who don't.
And organizations that treat that transition as an opportunity, retraining, reskilling, redesigning roles, versus those that treat it as a cost-cutting exercise. Those two approaches will produce very different outcomes for the people involved.
HR. The most personal episode of the series. 4 things?
1. 75% of large companies use AI in hiring. Your CV has probably already been read by an algorithm before a human saw it. 2. Amazon's scrapped recruitment AI taught itself to discriminate against women by learning from a workforce that was already male-dominated. AI in HR inherits the biases of the decisions it's trained on. 3. 60% of knowledge workers are subject to AI monitoring of their work activity. Most don't know exactly what's being tracked. And 4. The most important takeaway of this entire season. AI in hiring and performance management must have mandatory bias auditing, human sign-off on consequential decisions, and genuine transparency to the people it affects. These are not optional features. They are the difference between AI that expands economic opportunity and AI that entrenches existing inequality at industrial scale.
That's Season 3. 5 industries, 5 more ways AI is reshaping the world you actually live in. Don't forget to subscribe, like the video, and leave a comment.
Subscribe, watch the full episodes, and tell us in the comments what Season 4 should cover. I'm Oliver.
I'm Olga. Thank you for Season 3.